Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Amcor Ambon podcast. In this new episode, we got a very wonderful guest here. Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Yeah, before we start our conversation, can you introduce yourself to the audience?
Sure. Hi, my name is Kayla Smith. I serve as the Deputy Public Affairs Officer at the U.S Consulate General in Surabaya, and this is my first time to American Corner Ambon as well as Ambon, and I'm ecstatic to be here and do this podcast with y'all.
Yeah, I believe uh, you were once visited Ambon, but you got sick, you got ill, so you cannot like participate in the occasion in here. And
There was a schedule conflict,
yeah,
as such as the life.
so it's very rare occasion, guys, to have Kyla here. Yeah. So in today's podcast, we will talk about something that is like very often been talked about, especially with diplomats and people who are related or work with United States. It's uh, celebrating the 75th year of Indonesia and United States relationship. So it's very wonderful because it's such a long time, 75
Yeah.
years.
75 years in the United States
Yeah.
refer to a diamond anniversary. And
Yeah.
as we all know, Marilyn Monroe said it best, diamonds are forever. So, it's a wonderful time to be celebrating our bilateral ties. It's even more wonderful to know about all the rich programming we've been doing in Indonesia, but also in Washington, D.C., with our colleagues at the Indonesian Embassy. So it's been a robust year of celebration, and I know my colleagues in Jakarta will end it strong with the upcoming block party.
Oh.
So if you follow At America on Instagram, you can see it, or you can join us.
Yeah, you can follow at America on Instagram. You can participate in lots of their celebration related to this event. Yeah, the first question I want to ask to you, in your opinion, what are the key moments or milestones of the 75 years of partnership between Indonesia and the United States?
Where do I begin? I will start with one that I'm a little biased towards. Number one is signing an MOU between the United States and the Kala Group for the opening of our new American corner in Makassar. This achievement was also highlighted when President Prabowo met President Biden recently. If you go to the White House's website and you look at the joint statement between Indonesia and the United States, both of our leaders reflected their excitement for the opening of the new American corner in 2025. I want to highlight that because our American spaces have been key in our relations because they serve as cultural hubs where Indonesians and Americans alike can come and fellowship, whether we bring U.S. speakers or whether we are doing programming with esports.
Yeah,
There's
yeah, yeah.
something for everyone at one of our American spaces. I think for me, I'm a little bit biased because I'm working closely on the project. That has been the highlight for me in 75. But there are other things that we've done throughout the year as well. And from access launch ceremonies conducted by a regional English language officer to increasing the number of Waisili applicants from Indonesia. We've doubled the number. Just to other interagencies like USAID and all the projects they've been
Yeah, yeah.
doing lately. Everyone working for the United States under the mission to Indonesia has been engaging in ways to show how our partnership for 75 years is alive and well.
Yeah, it's all about the mutual relationship between Indonesia and United States.
Exactly.
Yeah, not also to mention other programs in United States that provided by United States Embassy and also Public Affair, for example, and Relo also like
Yeah.
what I've participated uh, 1 week ago, Cam Epic, and also like Kyle already mentioned, are all the esport programs, all the workshops. When they brought speakers, you can visit it or you can see it in at America. You can see it at other platform as well. For example, like other American corners. Yeah, so it's a lot. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's so much program. So we got to do some throwback to history of Indonesia and United States relationship. Uh, in your perspective or from what you have like learned, how did the relationship between Indonesia and United States begin after Indonesia's independence in 1945?
Yeah. So, like many countries, the United States sought a diplomatic relationship with Indonesia and sent our first ambassador. He um, kicked off the beginning of our relations with Indonesia. And since then, we have been with Indonesia through every iteration of its emergence in the Indo Pacific as a democratic nation. So I'm happy to be a part of that history. Whether you are an officer or an ambassador, it's a pleasure to serve in the mission to Indonesia to support these bonds. It really
Wow,
is.
yeah. And then move to the next question is kind of like related to what you have said before.
Yeah.
Um it's related to like cultural exchange because in Amcor here we've done a program last year, concert with Ashley Campbell,
Yes,
country music
I
concert.
heard.
Yep. So how has the cultural exchange, including arts, music, and education, shaped the relationship between Indonesia and United States?
I think, and I might be biased again, I think art is the best connector because it truly exposes people to other folks' humanity, right? And shared similarities culturally speaking. Since I've been here in the mission to Indonesia, I've participated in one of our arts envoys with Drew Tucker and the New Standard. They came and they did a tour, 2 week tour, I believe, in Indonesia. It was my first arts envoy to manage, and it was so exciting. And it's probably not going to be my last in Indonesia, and it's definitely not the
Oh.
first. We in the United States, especially those of us who are public affairs officers, see the value of cultural exchanges through the arts, through sports, through STEM or STEAM, science, technology, engineering, mathematics. And if you're a STEAM lover like myself, you add the arts. Cultural exchanges allow for an increase or strengthening of global interconnectedness, but also just a way of sharing. I think a
Yeah.
part of diplomacy is sharing. And I'm excited to see what we'll do in the coming years with our cultural exchanges. We do that also with education. I definitely want to highlight some of our programs and some of our collaborators. We have Amanef, the
Yeah, American
American
Indonesian
Indonesia
Exchange
Exchange
Foundation.
Foundation.
Yeah.
Yes, I remember the acronym. We have Amanef, who serves as our Fulbright Commission, helping us identify candidates for a master's or doctoral
Yeah.
fellowship or all of the other programs under Amanef's oversight. We have our U.S. exchange programs from YSEALI to SUSI,
Susie, yeah.
IVLP. And in addition, we work with our alumni, some alumni who are exchange program alumni or alumni who attended U.S. universities as ways to increase an interest in exchanges with the United States. That also includes Education USA, who
Yeah,
I definitely want to spotlight because they've done dynamic work with recruiting students, but also offering free advising services. I'm going to say that again, gratis,
yeah,
free
gratis, free.
advising services for students interested in S1, S2, atau S3. So cultural exchanges have taken many forms in our relationship, and they are the bedrock of our relationship. They really are.
Yeah. You already answered my next question about the student exchange. Yeah, it's very like beneficial for both countries because when you having student exchange, it's not only students from Indonesia or people from Indonesia like can have opportunities to come to United States to learn, but also people from United States to come to learn is to have like cultures exchange and
Yeah.
stuff.
I
Yeah.
think the best part about that is that people get to see more than what they've heard of both of our countries. When people think of the United States, I think a lot of people think of the capital city, Washington, D.C., or they think about New York. I think the best part is that when students go on travel, sometimes they're sent to Omaha, Nebraska, or they're sent to Atlanta, Georgia, or they're sent to Providence, Rhode Island, and they have experiences that they may have never thought were possible. Likewise, we have Americans who see different parts of Indonesia, whether they are in Sumatra or Kalimantan or visiting East Nusa Tenggara or the Maluku Islands, of course, it is powerful in showing people something that they may not have ever imagined. And that's the beauty
Yeah,
of
yeah, yeah,
exchanges.
yeah. Yeah. It's also very important because when you have students exchanges, you can also like cultivate young leaders. And young leaders are very like important for a nation, and it's also important for the relationship between both countries.
I agree.
So yeah. The next one is probably the last question, and I want you to, after answer this last question, I want to maybe give some encouragement for people who watch this podcast to maybe like wanted to learn more and wanted to visit American Corner more because, as you said, we provide a lot of information related to scholarship. We have a lot of books. We have a lot of resources here. Yeah, so maybe you can give them some like words of invitation or encouragement. So my last question is: it's because United States and Indonesia already changed its administration, and United States is about to change administration, moving to the next president.
Exactly.
So it's probably there might be a lot of new policies, a lot of new agreements or MOUs and stuff. So what are the biggest opportunities or potential like work or cooperation that Indonesia and United States can have probably in the next several years?
I may not be a fortune teller, but one thing I do know is that the United States values and appreciates its relationship with Indonesia. Under President Jokowi and President Biden, we were able to advance our partnership to a comprehensive strategic partnership, which is a high level
Yeah,
partnership, and it's an honor to have with Indonesia.
yeah,
That's not something we would take for granted. I envision that our relationship will forever stay strong as we
yeah.
welcome our soon to be president, President elect Trump. I know President Prabowo met President Biden recently, and I also read that he had a phone call with President elect Trump. I know that both of our leaders will work together to continue our relationship into the future. But I'm talking about leaders, and I want to talk about the young leaders who are listening. Please don't think that only President Prabowo and President elect Trump are the only ones who can advance the relationship between the United States and Indonesia. You play a role too, especially when you
Yeah.
come to our American corner. I think everyone's story is quintessential to the story of our diplomatic ties. My story, Ian's story, we play a role in advancing our bilateral relations through cultural diplomacy, through the arts, through education.
Yeah,
And
definitely.
so when you come to an American space, in particular American Quarter Ambon, what you'll be able to do is so many things. You can engage in English club. You can participate in esports diplomacy. You can develop your skills capacity training with podcasting and editing.
Yeah.
Here in this space, you can explore and know that the world is limitless when you go far and choose to join us, U.S. But that being said, I look forward to seeing a lot of you very, very soon for the reopening. Is that a secret or can I say it? For the reopening of American Corner Ambon very, very soon in 2025. And I'm just grateful to be here. And I'm grateful to know that so many of you are invested in contributing to the story of us, the United States and Indonesia.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. So yeah, you guys who watch this podcast, young leaders, yeah. Hopefully when on the next year when we got new American Corner, new opening, yeah, you guys will uh be more like wanted to come to American Corner.
Yeah,
Yeah,
come
it's
here, be
we have a
active.
lot of resources. You guys can do podcast training to like train your speaking skills and stuff. You guys can also we have PS5. You guys can play games like training esports. You guys probably can. We held like several workshops like relating to public speaking, relating to like IT and stuff. So yeah, you guys can come here. It's free. You guys don't need to like apply for it. You guys don't need to pay for it. You guys can just come visit and meet the volunteers and ask about anything.
Exactly. And if
Yeah.
you have friends at the surrounding universities, whether it's Polytechnic or any of the other institutes and universities in Ambon, encourage your friends to come out too. American Corner Ambon is meant to be a space for all university students in Ambon, in addition to university students, young professionals as well. So we look forward to seeing you here, especially for the reopening. And, cheers to the future and cheers to 75 years.
Cheers, guys. Cheers to 75 years of Indonesia and United States relationship. Yeah. So that's it for our podcast today. Thank you, Kyla, for giving such a wonderful information, giving such a wonderful talk, and giving such a wonderful encouragement for we called it Sobat Sobat Amcor. Yeah. So thank you guys for watching this podcast. If you want to look at other American Corner Ambon programs, you can